are running around this massive house. Their parents are all seated along a long table chatting about their week. Maids are running back and forth from the kitchen to the dining area with tons of food. And at the head of it all are this old, still madly in love couple. This was my family, and this was every Sunday growing up in the Philippines. My grandparents would throw these Sunday parties. They were always my favorite time of the week, and here's why. Sundays began with church, and my huge family all gathering at the local church by my grandparents' house. My grandparents had 8 children, my mom being one of them, and 32 grandchildren, myself being one of them. Most of us still living in the Philippines at the time. Some of my family members would travel over an hour just to get to Mass on Sunday to hear Mass with my grandparents. I remember sitting in the pews, looking back and waving at each of my cousins as they'd come into church, and trying to hold in my excitement for the rest of the day while hearing Mass. After church, we'd go to my grandparents' house, which turned into the social hub for our family. Immediately entering, I could smell the sour spices and sweet smells of hearty Filipino foods already cooking on the stove. Longganisa, pancit, sinigang, chicken adobo, all of my favorites. I could always count on them being there on Sundays. We all socialized. I got to play games with my cousins, sometimes inventing crazy new ones, or my favorite, just playing basketball and totally getting beat up by my older cousins. My parents would tell stories about the week and gossip with each other and update my grandparents on what was going on in their lives. We would do that too, and often tell them our accomplishments and ask for advice. My favorite times on Sundays was getting to sit down with my grandma and just tell her about my week and ask her for help. As time passed, however, and when my family moved to America, this Sunday tradition slowly died. On Sundays, we still heard Mass, but being in America, we weren't able to throw these big parties, and Sundays just became a time for chores and occasionally being able to call home. In the Philippines, my cousins grew up, and it became too much of a hassle to go to my grandparents' house every Sunday and have these big parties. Even though this tradition ended, it still remains a big part of my life because of the memories it's given me. Anytime I think of the Philippines, anytime I think of my big family, I always remember these Sunday parties and all of us being together. This Sunday tradition is very much a part of who I am as well. I still have a lot of the values and morals that I have today because I went to church so often when I was younger. I pursued basketball at a higher level just because I remember enjoying it so much and playing with my cousins. But this Sunday tradition reminded me the most of the importance of my family, and someday when I have a family of my own, I would love to continue this Sunday tradition again. Thank you so much.